leg that's not there. And I haven't had them for months, man. Months.
Really?
And then they came on today. I actually nearly didn't make it. I thought, no, I'm going to be so distracted.
Yeah.
Oh, shame. Yeah.
Oh, come on, man, really?
And there was no apparent reason for it.
No.
Just suddenly got sore.
Well, it's usually if the leg's not on right or if it catches something. But I mean, there's a small thing there, but I wouldn't have expected this sort of result.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a release of some kind.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, the ego does use pain. The physical body is the ego's creation and domain. So, if it wants to get you to associate with the body and the world, then pain is a very good device for that, because obviously all your attention gets locked into the body and the pain and the perception of suffering and etc. And so pain. Physical pain is one of the ego's primary devices, and pleasure, physical pleasure as well. It's the same thing. To get your attention into the body, and so if you're doing this kind of work and it's not liking it very much, then I guess it's not surprising. It's gonna pick on your weak point, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly successful in that way. That's for sure.
Well, you
just think of anything else.
You just kind of got to look at it and go, actually, no, I can look at this, and although the pain's not going to just suddenly go away, you just see it differently. You start to go, okay, I see what's happening here, and so there's a difference between pain and suffering. And
that was the first thing I did, was like, I just spoke to the ego and I said, really? This is what you're going to try now? Okay, that's fine. Let's bring it on. Great, let's go through it.
Yeah. So, you're aware of it. And then that makes it easier. And there's a difference between physical pain and emotional suffering.
Yes.
Suffering is when emotionally that affects you and you're not in happiness, you're not in peace. But you can actually get to a point where there's physical pain, but there's no emotional suffering, because you just okay, I'm all right. I'm still okay. The real self is still okay. And then, that's not easy. I'm not saying that's an easy thing to do. It's not an overnight process, but the more you work on letting go, the more you can detach your mind from the body and attachment to the body. The more, the easier it gets.
Okay.
Jonathan, I've taken 10 minutes to get in. I don't know why, but at least I got in tonight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed the first bit, because
okay.
What I wanted to say is, that my body purged itself.
Yeah.
It wasn't
nice.
I'm only just coming right now after 3 days. But the big thing is that I have lost the pain from my osteoporosis. For 3 nights now, I haven't taken anything, and I haven't had any pain.
That's amazing.
Wow, Hazel.
Well done.
Wow.
Done.
And you've had pain for a couple of years now?
For about 2 years.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I hope I'm not, jumping the gun, but 3 nights without anything. It tells me a lot.
Hey,
I used to take 2 anti-inflammatories and a codeine pill every night. I've taken nothing.
Right. And you're okay. Well, that's there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
The miracle. So all that stuff that you purged, it was negative energy. It was a manifestation of negative energy releasing. It's not nice when you're doing it, but now that you're rid of that,
I thought I was dying.
You thought you were?
I thought I was dying. It was really awful,
No,
Yeah.
you just, well, in a way, I mean, it's a mini death, yeah? So whenever you go through a transformation, something in you has to die. Some part of you has to die.
Okay.
But it's a part of you don't really want to keep alive. The part that makes you sick and suffer and miserable and so on. So, and sometimes that means that physically you have to go through a kind of a process as well.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I'll use an analogy. Are you familiar with the hero's journey? Has anyone heard of the hero's journey?
No.
So it's a guy called Joseph Campbell. I mean, he studied ancient mythology and modern literature and so on. And there's this idea, this archetype of the hero. And the hero starts by feeling a call, by feeling like they're not very happy with things as they are, and they feel a call to go somewhere. And usually, in a story, that's an adventure. They go out of their their comfort zone, and they'll go out on a journey or something. But spiritually, that's the call of the spirit to say, look, I'm not happy as I am, and I know I need to take on this journey, and so then you take the first step. And for you guys, the first step was deciding to do this course, signing up for the course. It's like, okay, I feel the call. Something in me says I need to do this. I need to go on this journey. It's a 6-week journey, and you sign up and off you go. And then you've got to kind of go. You've got to go past the unknown. You've got to go away from the unknown, which is your normal. Even though you haven't left your lives, it's your normal way of thinking and habits and thought system, etc. And you've got to start journeying into the unknown. And that's kind of what you're doing here. It's like going into unknown territory. These are unfamiliar beliefs and thoughts and practices like meditation from Marie and so on. And in the it's also called going through the belly of the whale. It's a reference to the biblical story of Jonah and the whale. He went into the whale's belly for 3 days and 3 nights. So the idea of like you go into this darkness in spiritual traditions and transformations called the dark night of the soul, and it's not pleasant, right? You're in the belly of the whale. You think you're going to die. Your whole world's been turned upside down. Part of you goes, why did I ever leave? Why did I ever start the journey? Fear, doubts, etc. All that comes up, and you're going to be challenged, right? So in that dark night of the soul, there's all kinds of challenges arising, which may present themselves physically, but the real challenge is mentally and emotionally, right? To face your fears and be willing to kind of journey through it and overcome it. And then you sort of come out the other side of the journey, and you have a new perspective. You have new learning, a new perspective. There's a rebirth experience, right? And this is a myth that's common in all cultures. And the idea of the hero's journey is pretty much in most hero stories and a lot of movies and so on. You see that cycle playing out. Then there's a rebirth and a transformation. You come out of the belly of the whale with new learning and new inspiration, and you're at a higher level. And then you go back and you return to your old life, but now you've transformed. And the transformation is an inner one. Your thinking and who you are, you'll never be the same again because you've gone through that journey. And that cycle might repeat many times in your life. But that's kind of what you're all on. This process is, the hero's journey. And then, the belly of the whale for you, Hazel, it's like, well, I'm purging, and I think I'm going to die and it's awful. Yeah. But then you come out the other side, and I can actually see there's more light in your face. Can you see that, everyone? Just looks like she's a bit lighter and clearer. So you can start to see the physical symptoms of it. And then you go back to your old life, but now there's a transformation that's happened. So you're thinking differently, you're feeling differently. In your case, your body's different. That pain is gone. So was it ever osteoporosis, or was it just negative energy that we got stuck there that was causing the pain? Because
I know what it was too, what issue it was that started it anyway.
Yeah, and so now maybe you've started to release that issue, and then physically, there's a release as well. So That's how it works. So that's a great demonstration. Another miracle. We seem to be getting miracles every night. So last night was Marie, tonight's you. That's fantastic. Anyone else like to share anything? Bali, check in. How's your day? How's your week?
Just when you're talking about Hazel's purging, I'm thinking about Louise Hay, who says any physical ailment is actually an expression of a discomfort at the level of the soul, and it will manifest in the body. So yeah, very interesting when you say, was it really osteoporosis, or was it, you know, stuck energy that needed releasing? Yeah, something to think about.
I think it's one and the same.
Yeah, well, it obviously wasn't, you know, you could call it osteoporosis, but you know, now you've purged and it's not there anymore. So how do you explain that then? Where's the osteoporosis gone? And that's the case with a lot of you know, a lot of illnesses and diseases and so on, especially things like that. You know, so autoimmune diseases. If like, you know, in Phil's case, you've lost a leg, maybe that's a bit different because your leg's not going to grow back. We think, I suppose, nothing's impossible. There have been stories of yogis growing limbs and stuff. So hey, you know, who's to say it's not possible? But we're talking about you know, things internal to the body, right? Especially lifestyle diseases. You know, things that often doctors go, well, you know, there's nothing much we can do. Here's the pill, take the pill. And actually, you know, if you really do this kind of work, you can heal your mind, start healing your mind and heal the body through the mind. And there's many accounts. You know, you can go and you can find many people who've done this, who've healed from seemingly chronic diseases, from you know, total seemingly paralysis. You know, Joe Dispenza, he was. I think he was diagnosed. The doctor said he'd never walk again because he had a bad accident, and he basically cured himself just with his mind in a matter of 3 months. And you know, and there's many stories like
I've studied Louise Hay because I'm qualified therapist in quite a few therapies, so I know what I'm talking about. I know exactly what started this year before last.
Yeah, it was mentioned was your, you know, an issue, really unforgiveness of your son, right? So there was an issue, he's rejected you, and then you're storing that. Now maybe you started to release that, and so then the body starts to reflect that.
Yeah,
just by these simple ideas of, well, okay, you can let it go. You can do some meditation, and you can release the thought, and you can release the emotion. And you might not have done it completely, but you started the process, and then immediately this.
I did a lot of Ho'oponopono when this first happened. Every morning I did Ho'oponopono on my son, but it didn't seem to help, obviously.
Yeah, you know, it's not so much the words. You know, words are it's useful. Like Ho'oponopono is a good process, but it's the state of mind it takes you into. So you can say Ho'oponopono until the cows come home, but if you're not really having a shift in consciousness and in your underlying belief, it's not really going to help. So
I just thought it would shift my consciousness.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly better than nothing. But if you do it, and so I tell you what you've been doing, Hazel, you've been meditating. You've been doing this breath work. You've been meditating. And that starts to take you into a deeper state of mind. And in a deeper state of mind, you start to access a different part of your consciousness, and you can let go on a different level. And that's why I say, you know, do the breath work with the daily lessons, and do the morning meditation, because you can't really get that same effect if you don't go into an altered state. If you just go, oh yeah, okay, do the lesson, I'm all kind of, you know, in beta, my mind's going, you're not going to get the same effect as if you do it and you're in a deep meditation state. It doesn't, you know, so it's altered state of mind, body. So yeah, it's powerful stuff. We'll do a meditation tonight with today's lesson, which is a very powerful one. It's one of the most powerful ones in the whole course. So I'll take you through. I'll talk you through the lesson while you're in meditation, and you can do it because it's actually an internal. A lot of the lessons, the first three were external. You know, how you perceive the world, and then the fourth one was kind of half internal, half external. This one is very much internal. Okay, so what's going on in your mind? what's upsetting you. So it's great. It's a great one to do with the meditation. Anyone else like to share anything? Bakang, how are you? Bakang, you saw, let's see if we can
He's
unmute.
muted. He's muted
Yeah,
somehow.
I'm just going to try and unmute him. And Levo is also there.
His little. Hello.
Hi, Levo.
Hi.
Glad you could make it.
Is it?
So, Bakang, are you with us?
Yes.
I've unmuted you.
Yes.
How's your day and your week? Anything to check in on?
Yeah. Evening, everyone.
Hello.
I can say hi, Debbie, hi, Mary, hi, Hazel, hi, everyone.
Hi, Bakang.
Hi. Basically, my day was okay compared to yesterday. After we spoke, last night, I started focusing on the end result, which is basically what I want to see, which is being free from, the whole process of being, tousled back and forth by the ego. I started just meditating on the feeling that will be coming when I'm, free from the ego. And I must say, whatever that came my way, I didn't handle it as hard as the prior days because I knew that this will pass, this is nothing. And, there's an end result. It's not like I'll be stuck in this cycle forever, every day. It's a process towards, a particular goal, if I can put it that way. So I can say I kind of like had a great day today. Nothing really, pushed me around or, fought with me. Even though there were situations that came through, but, I wasn't wearing that cap to say, okay, how do I fight this? But I was more on, it's just nothing. And yeah, there is more to this than what I'm feeling right now. It's a process.
Yeah, brilliant.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. So a couple of interesting points there. Just that's a very interesting idea to meditate and visualize on what you'll feel like when the ego is not there. Because by doing that, you're automatically connecting with that state of being ego-free, and so it becomes the reality for that moment. So that's quite an interesting technique. Which
and you're rewiring your brain.
Yeah, exactly. And Levo, how are you? Are you there?
I'm good. I'm here.
Excellent. Anything noteworthy happening for you? Any challenges arising? Any miracles you want to tell us about?
No, not really. Nothing.
Nothing really? Okay. Good. And Bali was there, but she's disappeared. So I don't know where she's gone now. So obviously do something. Oh, there she is. Bali, anything to share with us?
No, just that last night during the meditation, I had Marie's restlessness. I could not sit still. I just felt this surge of restless energy throughout my body, and it was so uncomfortable, so uncomfortable. Yeah. So
have you not done meditation for a while?
Oops. Is that what it is? Yeah. No.
Well, if you're not used to it, so you did the isolating course just like 11 months ago. We finished it for the last one. So if you haven't continued with a meditation practice,
I do breath work. I thought that made a difference. I do Art of Living Kriya every day.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, that will help. But maybe it's just a bit of a different modality. So you're just watching the breath, and so it's less. I know. I've done that Sudarshan Kriya. It's quite active. Whereas with just watching the breath and just sitting, you have to really face the restlessness of the mind, because the mind then wants to go, jump around, body move, because there's actually nothing to do except watch your breath. And so that's the genius of the technique, because it's so simple that the mind starts to resist it and go, I want to have more action. Whereas something that's a little bit more active, your ego might be able to go, okay, well, I can kind of go with that because breathing, doing the thing, you know, all the stuff going on.
It's
So
true. Yeah.
just work with it, you know, just if it happens tonight, just sit with it and go, okay, I'm wanting to just be aware of that discomfort arising and just keep returning my attention to my breath. Just keep doing that.
Okay.
And gradually it will go. If you keep doing that for you know, days, eventually it'll just be like that. That energy subsides, because what you're doing then is you are mastering your mind. You're giving your mind a very clear instruction. No, I'm not gonna allow the body to dictate, because that's the ego and the lower mind. I'm not going to allow the body to dictate. I'm going to apply my higher mind here and just sit with this and discipline my lower mind, the ego, and the body. Just through the simple practice of, like, seriously, if you can master just sitting and watching your breath and not really thinking, and you can do that for 15 minutes, you're a master, you're a spiritual master. You do that for 15 minutes, even 10 minutes. You're a spiritual master, even a few minutes, without thought, just to watch the breath and no thoughts coming in. You're a master. It's not easy. Because sooner or later, yeah, a thought pops into your head, doesn't it? And then another one, and you know, and so it's just this continual practice of bringing it back. It's a very, very simple idea. Okay, no thought, just focus on the breath.
Okay.
And if you can start getting just better and better at it, you know, over a lifetime, really. It's a lifetime of practice. You might just get to a stage in 10 or 20 years where you're just like, actually, I can just be watching my breath, no thought arising for a few minutes, and that's all good. And I'm aware, but no thought. And that is spiritual mastery, if you can do that. So, yeah, anyone else like to share anything? Should we move on? Let's do a meditation, I think. Mute yourself. I'm not sure that makes that much difference, but if you all mute yourself, it might make a bit of a difference. I'm hoping that it won't sound like I'm going underwater. It's actually not too bad. It's quiet, so there's not that much background noise. So maybe we should try try unmuting and try unmuting yourself and just see if anyone there's background noise. I'll then stick you on mute. But let's go and see, because it seems like the audio quality is better. I'm still trying to figure out why and find a solution. I need to contact Zoom and ask them. But it's something to do with the software, probably. Okay. So just as usual, making yourself comfortable. Sitting nice and straight, back straight. Cup your hands in your lap, feet resting on the ground. And close your eyes. And just start the breathing. Start breathing, nice, deep, slow inhales and exhales. So inhaling, noticing how the stomach rises. And exhaling, noticing how it sucks back in. Noticing how the chest fills with air, stomach and chest. There's the subtle flow of air into the nose and out of the nose. And just allowing yourself to get a little bit more relaxed with every breath. Just allowing yourself to sink a little bit deeper. This lovely, peaceful, calm, relaxed state with every breath. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, just breathe and relax. And if the monkey mind starts jumping around and you're starting to feel a bit uncomfortable and you're thinking about the past or you're thinking about the future, your weekend to come, just gently bring your awareness back to the breath. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, just breathe and relax. allowing yourself to get more and more relaxed with every breath. Sink a little bit deeper. This lovely, peaceful, calm, relaxed state with every breath. And nowhere to go, nothing to do. For the next 15 minutes or so, just breathe and relax. Connecting in with the sensations around your breath, so noticing how the belly rises as you inhale, and it falls as you exhale. Now the chest rises and falls. Noticing any other sensations you're experiencing around your breath. Breathing in, pause, hold the breath briefly, breathing out. That's all you have to do. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just breathe and relax. Oh, this very peaceful, calm, relaxed state. Carry on breathing while I read this to you. Just going to read the workbook lesson from today, which is your mind training lesson. Hopefully you've all read it and done it. But this is another opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into it. As I say, just keep breathing, keep awareness on the breath as I read this. Allowing yourself to get a little bit more relaxed with every breath. And listen to these words, just let them drop into this nice, clear, open awareness that you've created. So I'm never upset for the reason I think. This idea, like the preceding one, can be used with any person, situation, or event you think is causing you pain. Apply it specifically to whatever you believe is the cause of your upset, using the description of the feeling in whatever term seems accurate to you. The upset may seem to be fear, worry, depression, anxiety, anger, hatred, jealousy, or any number of forms, all of which will be perceived as different. This is not true. However, until you learn that form does not matter, each form becomes a proper subject for the exercises of the day. Applying the same idea to each of them separately is the first step in ultimately recognizing they are all the same. And using the idea for today, the specific perceived cause of an upset in any form, use both the name of the form which you see the upset and the cause which you ascribe to it. For example, I'm not angry at blank, so whatever, for the reason I think. I'm not afraid of whatever, for the reason I think. Again, this should not be substituted for practice periods in which you first search your mind for sources of upset in which you believe, and forms of upset which you think result. So just now search your mind and go find something that might be upsetting you. Could be something little, just a mild irritation, or it could be something that's long-standing. It's been with you for months or years. And as usual, just breathe in on that. Just tune into what that feels like. So, what is the feeling and the emotion? Thoughts and the emotion that it triggers feel like? And just notice the forms of upset which you think result. So maybe that makes you angry, maybe you've said harsh words, maybe you've acted in a way that's unkind. Just tune into all of that. And then say to yourself, I'm not angry if it's anger, I'm not afraid of if it's fear that you're feeling. Whatever or whoever, just name it for the reason I think. I'm not angry at Hazel's example, you could use your son, my son for the reason I think. I'm not afraid of my boss for the reason I think, etc. So just apply the idea that way. If you find it hard to be indiscriminate, to avoid giving greater weight to some subjects and to others, you might want to just say to yourself, there are no small upsets. They are all equally disturbing to my peace of mind. Of course, says at some point, a little bit of irritation or annoyance is really just a mask for intense fury. Because actually, it's all stemming from this thought system of the ego, which was born in intense fury and rage. So there are no small upsets. They are all equally disturbing to my peace of mind. Now examine your mind for whatever is distressing, regardless of how much or how little you think it is doing so. Now, if you find yourself less willing to apply today's idea to some perceived sources of upset than to others, then you can say this to yourself: I cannot keep this form of upset and let the others go. For the purposes of these exercises, then, I will regard them all as the same. So there's no exceptions, which is why this course works. There are no exceptions. All the upsets are really the same. Whether they seem to be large or small, there's no real distinction. I'll regard them as all the same, and so either let go of all of them or hold on to all of them. Now, search your mind for no more than a minute or so, and just try to identify a number of different forms of upset that are disturbing, regardless of the relative importance you may give it. Apply the idea for today to each of them, using the name of both the source of the upset as you perceive it, and of the feeling as you experience it. So you might have already done this, but maybe you can find a couple of other things. So as an example, I'm not worried about whatever for the reason I think. I'm not depressed about whatever for the reason I think. And just do that for another 30 seconds. So finding one or more things to just apply the lesson to. I am not, name the primary emotion. So for example, I'm not worried about whatever or whoever. Name it for the reason I think. Say it one more time. Just repeat the central idea. I'm never upset for the reason I think. And try and just observe and be aware of what your mind's thinking, how you're feeling now compared with 10 minutes ago before we started the meditation. In general, and then specifically about the situation. So if you bring it up, that situation you're upset about, just noticing maybe how it's changed. Maybe you're not quite as angry or as upset as you were before. Maybe there's more of a kind of neutral acceptance, like, oh well, it doesn't really matter, whatever. And you feel kind of fairly detached and peaceful about it. So just notice that. Feeling. And to help you to do this, just reconnect with your breath. And just for a couple of minutes, just enter into this beautiful, peaceful, calm, relaxed state. Just give your mind permission to let go. Just go into a place where there's not really any need to think. Nowhere to go, there's nothing to do. Just breathe and relax. And sink into this place where no upset can go, where there's no room for upset or drama. Just be quiet for a couple of minutes. You sink into this peace and this silence. You can visualize a light. You're just kind of surrendering to this light. It's all encompassing, it's always there. Turning to the love. And just get lost in it. Completely let go for a couple of minutes into the stillness, the light, golden or white light, and the feeling of it is total love. Just totally expansive, all-encompassing feeling of love. And just deeply connect with all of that. Everyone's going to have a slightly different experience. Some will see the light. I'll just focus on the feeling. Just allow it to be. Just allow whatever to arise in the next couple of minutes. There we go, nothing to do, just breathe and relax. Into the stillness and peace that you've created. Just listen to these words. This is commentary on a lesson by a very well-known Course in Miracles teacher, David Hoffmeister. In this deep state of meditation, just listen to what he has to say.
So today's idea is the beginning of loosening the fixed belief that the cause of any upset, any emotional upset, and any degree of upset being caused by something in the world of time and space, of images, of appearances. This has been the great addiction of the ego. The belief that there is an external world that is causing fear, guilt, pain, shame, hurt. The sleeping mind has been tricked, it's been duped into believing that the world is the cause and the state of mind is the effect. It's an addiction that all human beings have encountered with their time and space experience. You can hear it when little children are arguing. You hurt my feelings. You made me mad. The causation is seen to be in the actions, behaviors. And the upset is not seen to be in the mind, emanating from consciousness. So this idea, I am never upset for the reason I think, is absolutely essential as a beginning step of giving up the belief in victimization. It's loosening the grip in the mind on this belief in being a victim of the world. And this belief in victim and sacrifice runs very, very deep. And it must be dislodged from the mind. This is a lesson that I used for many years, a part of a combination of the lessons that are to follow to turn my mind around from the upside down thinking of the ego to the right-minded thinking of the Holy Spirit, of the living Christ. It is a way of beginning to claim responsibility for the state of mind and not keep pushing off and pawning off and projecting out false causes. And this lesson will transfer and work well with any upset. So today, practice this lesson in very specific forms, as was suggested by Jesus. Be geared up to notice whenever you seem angry, afraid, irritated, annoyed, worried, or depressed, to quickly call upon the lesson for the day by saying, I'm not angry at you for the reason I think. I'm not afraid of you for the reason I think. I'm not worried about this for the reason I think. I'm not depressed about this for the reason I think. I'm not irritated at this for the reason I think. I'm not annoyed at this for the reason I think. Practice it with great specificity, with everyone and everything, every situation in which you notice an upset arise today. And again, don't overdo it, as Jesus tells us 3 or 4 times during the day is enough. So if you have many upsets arising, just pause and every so often pick one to work with today and give it all of your heart. Because this is a time of rejoicing that you are now coming to the end of this seeming upset that was never about anything in form. And we have the devotion to be free. So each form that you practice with is the proper subject for using the idea for the day. It's really very profound that there is an escape from all upset. And of course, this is required to experience lasting, stable, consistent peace of mind. It's absolutely essential. This is the remedy for escaping from the ego and seemingly millennium of darkness, fear. Tell yourself, I will use lesson 5 today to free my mind and come to know the happiness, the love that I am and have always been. Because I am a being created by God to be love and extend love. But the only way to be aware of my true identity is to face this belief in false causation. It's thinking that there's something in the world that can take away my peace of mind. That is not the truth. I am responsible for my state of mind. And so again, we practice with today's glorious lesson. I am never upset for the reason I think. From chapter 1, we continue.
Okay, so on the count of 3, you're going to gently bring your mind back into your body and open your eyes. So 1, just noticing how your body is feeling. And maybe for a while there, you weren't really aware of your body. You know, you were in meditation, listening. Your attention was really on the mind. So notice how that felt. Just bring your awareness back to the body with that awareness of the fact that you're actually one. And noticing the weight of the body pressing on the chair, feet on the ground. Anything else that you're feeling? So what are you touching? 2, just tuning into the other senses, maybe sounds in the surrounding area. Maybe there's a subtle taste of smell coming on for you, just tune into all that. And at the same time, stay connected to this underlying peace, this awareness. Set an intention to do that for the rest of the session and the evening and on into the weekend. And so to say, so it's done. And then 3, just gently open your eyes. And look around. Nice, clear, calm, aware state. Just noticing everything without judging or labeling or interpreting anything. And you might want to say a couple of times to yourself the lesson. So, I am never upset for the reason I think. It's a very, very profound lesson, as David Hoffmeister said. If you really understand and apply it, you understand and apply the whole course. And it is the antidote to the upset and the drama of the world. I'm never upset for the reason I think. Okay, so any questions on that? You all listened to the lesson. Anyone struggle with it?
No.
It's a great lesson.
Great. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a lesson you can use over, as David Hoffmeister said, you know, he worked with it for many years. It's a single lesson. Because how many times a day do you get upset? You're really aware of it. You know, and an upset, as I said, there are no small upsets. So an upset can just be a momentary anxiety, a little bit of fear, an annoyance, an irritation, all these little things. How many times a day does that happen? Probably tens to hundreds. So, you know, you can tune in, and if you really apply this, whenever something like that arises and you notice it, you go, okay, I'm never upset for the reason I think. So I'm not really upset because, you know, my boss sent me a nasty email. I'm not really upset because the taxi driver cut me off. I'm not really upset for the reason I think. I'm actually upset because in my mind, right, the ego wants to be upset. That's what he's saying. False causation is we ascribe it to something else that then triggers an emotion. But that emotion was always there. The causation is in the mind. It's not in the external world. And so it's taking it back into the mind and saying, okay, so if the cause is there, cause of the upset is really there, then the solution is also there. And the solution is to let go of the cause of that upset, apparent cause of that upset, and just let go of the feeling and the emotion. And when you do that, you're undoing the ego, because that's all it's made up of, is negative emotion, upset, etc. And it uses the external world. This is the idea of projection. So we think that it's something outside of us, someone or something outside of us, doing it to us, right? The belief we're a victim. But actually that's just a setup. We've projected these feelings outwards, and then they manifest themselves in these apparently upsetting situations, which then trigger the arising of the primary cause, which is a thought and the emotion, which is still in our mind. You see that? It's ingenious. Project it out. Now it's out there. Oh, that now triggers my upset, and now I can blame someone else. So I get to project my guilt out, and it also keeps the whole idea of separation going, as long as I do that. And the fact is, you'll be stuck here forever. If you continue that process of thinking that the outside world has the power to influence you and affect you and make you upset, you will come back here over and over and over again, because that's the cycle you're caught in. That's what your mind thinks is real. And so you have to start to question all of that. Saying, I'm not upset for the reason I think, and I'm not really a victim, because the cause of the upset is really in my own mind, irrespective of what it seems to be out there in the world. So actually pretty simple, but it's profound. It's very deep, it's very profound. You can work with this lesson for years and years, and as I said, you know, it takes years to attain spiritual mastery. Just like that simple breathing practice, just you know, working with a lesson like this for years and years and saying, I'm going to master this. Well, you become a spiritual master in the process. So what I'll say is it doesn't take, be aware of the temptation to go, I need more information, right? I need something else out there to help me. You might know people like that. They're always seeking. They're always going out to lectures and talks and workshops and seminars and retreats. And, give me more information. Oh, try a bit of that and try a bit of that. And actually, it's not about that. So the more you work with the course, the more you go, it's about just mastering these simple lessons, right? I'm never upset for the reason I think. Such a simple idea. It's a one-liner. But take that into your life and apply it in your life and try and really master that lesson. That will take you so deep into your mind. You don't need to go look for other information, and like the lesson's there. Just keep practicing until you get it. And you won't get it the first time around or the second time around, or fully. It's just a process. So just be willing to go deep rather than broad and wide. And just work with these. If this resonates with you, of course, I can't make the choice for you. But if the Course in Miracles and the philosophy resonates, then my advice is just to go deeply into it. Go, okay, so this is my path. So the idea of a spiritual path is you follow that path, and you dedicated to that path, because in your being, in your spirit, you know that path is going to take you home. And so it's not about like trying to get multiple different bits of information and so on. It's like just go deeply into that path, because there's only so much time available. So, just work with that path and work with these lessons and the text. And if you go deeply into it, it will take you where you want to go. It'll bring you to a state of peace and happiness and ultimately enlightenment. David Hoffmeister has been working with us since 1986. Right? So that's a long time, 35 years, 34 years almost, 33 years. It's transformed his mind, it's transformed his life completely. So that's the invitation. Just work with it on a deep, and just be willing to go deeper and deeper into it, and just do the lessons. I just do them every year, because there's such profundity in them, and I don't think you can ever say, "Oh, well, I've mastered that." I'm never upset for the reason I think. Okay, so you never get upset then. That's when you've mastered. You never get upset. And even Dr. Hugh Len, so the whole Ponopono guy, he's quite an advanced guy. He came up with Ponopono. He said, I still haven't got through a day without having a judgment, without having some kind of judgment and upset. I haven't got through a day ever. So I've still got work to do.
I think all of us do, yeah.
Oh.
Yes, definitely, eh? Definitely, yeah.
The temptation is to get upset and to judge, and the world is set up for that. Right? So when you start to recognize the purpose of the world, you go, remember this phrase, right? Every upset is a set up. That's quite a nice thing to remember. Every upset is a set up, because I've been set up by my ego to get upset by this apparent external occurrence, whatever you think has happened. And just in the moment when you want to get upset, go, this is a setup, don't go there. All right? It's just been set up, don't go there. Because that's always what the ego is trying to do. And so I'll be interested tomorrow, we can see how it goes and see if you start getting triggered and more upset comes. And then just apply the lesson. Be willing to go, okay, yeah, never upset for the reason I think. Every upset is a setup. Okay, breathe, pause, let this go. And you can do that process in a matter of a few seconds if you really get good at it. It can take you 10, 20 seconds to just, okay, breathe. I'm never upset for the reason I think. This upset is a setup. I can let this go as I exhale, and I can be okay. And it could be as simple as that, sort of one or two breaths, and just thinking those thoughts. So, starting to use breathing with the mind, with the ideas, is extremely powerful. Okay, so breath work is powerful on its own, and mind training is powerful on its own. But I think you combine the two. It's something that happens that takes it to another level. Because the breathing activates another part of your awareness. It helps you to go into this deeper, higher awareness, your spirit. And then now you're coming from your right mind, you now have the thought, and it's a lot easier to be clear and for it to stick in there. You're in a very receptive state. You become like a sponge in that state because there's no blocks and filters, and so it just gets absorbed in. And that's why in all the ancient traditions they use the breath as the first part of any spiritual aspirants training, any initiates training. And so right, start to work with the breath, start to do breath work, meditation, etc., so that you can start to learn to control your mind. You can start to learn to control this monkey mind. All the thoughts, etc. You still the breath, you still the mind. That's the first part, right? Create some openness, create some awareness, and then in that clarity, in that clear state, you can now drop in, start putting in these constructive, positive thoughts. So there's a lot of teachings that talk about awareness, and that's all great. And just being aware of the now, and that'll get you there. There's another step, right? So awareness is the first step. The second step is the conscious letting go of the negativity that you've noticed, which is what the course is always aiming you to do, to help you to do. I'm never upset for the reason I think. Okay, so I'm aware of that thought, I'm willing to let it go, and to replace it with something else. Right, and that's what it's leading to in the second half of the workbook lessons, which we won't get to in this course. There's a replacement of the negative with a positive thought. The moment we're undoing the false perception, and then you replace it with something else. So forgiveness or letting go takes it to another level. It's not just awareness, it's awareness and then a choice to let go, and then naturally once you've made that choice, you are making the choice automatically to replace it with something positive. It's a positive thought or feeling that will arise naturally if you've really let go. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does.
Yes.
No, it does.
Excellent. Any questions, Bakan? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. No questions from my side.
So we'll start doing the meditations, and I'll start incorporating some of these lessons. Did that work for you? That it was kind of all blended into the meditation.
David Hofmeister coming and going. I couldn't catch everything he said.
Was he coming?
You were fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it came to me. Was
my voice better because you were mostly unmuted? Yeah. My voice was better.
Yours was better, but not.
You were better.
Not Hofmeister.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was from YouTube, so it was probably the internet connection. I just thought I'd try it because he's got a lot of videos. So I'll start putting the links to the lessons. He's got the site called The Course in Miracles now. The lessons are on there, and then you can read it. And on the page, you can also click a link which takes you to the YouTube video and the commentary. So if you want to, you can listen to the commentary as well. Because it can be quite helpful. You can listen to him read the lesson, and then he's usually got a commentary for a few minutes as well that you can do. So I'll include that from tomorrow.
Cool.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone?
Might sound better on Facebook. It might sound better on Facebook.
Might sound better on Facebook.
David might come across better on Facebook when you put it on Facebook.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he would. I mean, I can post this YouTube link on the Facebook page, so you can listen to it, and then it'll just be directly streaming. So just a couple of housekeeping notes, and then maybe we'll close off. So the weekend, I'm going to be sending you emails as normal. Do your lessons. That all continues, reading the text. But there's only going to be one session. So we're going to do a session tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 for those who want to join. We'll make it maybe a little bit of a longer session, so depending, it might go on for an hour and a half. And then the evening is free and Sunday's free. But try and use the time. The reason I've given you a break is it's just a time to consolidate. To go, okay, so I don't have a discussion session today, so use that time to maybe catch up on things that you missed. So you can go into the group. There might be sessions that you missed. You can listen to those. There's some videos there. Maybe you haven't watched them, and also do some homework. So I'll email you about this. But in the course manual, there's some exercises. If you go to page, I think it's about 40 odd, where the exercises start. I'll tell you now, actually. You'll see there's 3 exercises. And just do those. They shouldn't take you very long. They're just kind of little mind training exercises about perception. Just looking at your perception and how doing these exercises changes your perception. And so spend a few minutes doing each one and just notice that. You can make some notes if you want. I've left space for that. And we can discuss that. Well, I'll give you the weekend, so we'll discuss that on Monday. Because the exercises are about helping you to shift your perception, and that's really what the course is designed, is aimed to do. Primary objective of it is to help you shift your perception of every situation. So that the exercises will help you to do that. Yeah, that's hopefully you can join tomorrow afternoon. Is maybe just do a quick check in. Is everyone able to make that at 1:30 tomorrow?
I won't make it, Jonah.
Okay.
I won't make it.
All right.
I don't think I'm going to make it, Jonah.
Who can make it?
I can make it for 1 hour.
Make it for an hour. Okay. Would it be better?
I won't be able to.
Would it? Okay. So you know, I mean, would it be flexible? Would it be better to do it in the evening or not, or later?
I can't make the evening either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on a Saturday evening, people are busy. So, is there a time that works for everyone or not? Really?
What other time have you got?
7 o'clock.
Well, you know, there's the whole day. I could do it in the morning. I could do it later in the afternoon. Could do it in the evening. So when works best? Is there a time when it works, or shall we just?
But it depends on everybody's timing, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, I'm trying to get sort of a consensus. Can anyone make the afternoon? Hazel said she could.
Yes, for 1 hour.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On my side, afternoon and evening, I think it will be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Debbie?
I'm at a workshop most of the day tomorrow.
Right. Oh, okay. So no, just Hazel can make it. So, all right. We can just not do a session. It's fine. We'll carry on Monday. Like use the weekend to just catch, because I'm sure you've all missed some sessions.
Yeah.
So there's probably sessions in the group there. I'm posting everything there. Meditations are there, etc. So use it to consolidate and do your homework, catch up, and obviously there's maybe giving you course lessons and reading to do as well.
Okay.
And then we'll resume on Monday. Do the discussion sessions. The last few days, no one's really made it at 1:30. So is it something I should keep, or should we just do an evening discussion session? What do you think? What's the consensus?
Yeah, evening for me, because I haven't managed to make it. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, evening.
Yeah, evening for me too, Jonah.
Okay. So
this sort of time works well right across the week for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it seems like, you know, most people are logging in the evening, and during the day, it's not really happening. 1 or 2 people might show up, but that's not really enough for a discussion session as one person. So, okay, we'll just do sessions in the evening. We won't do a session Saturday. It doesn't seem like anyone can really make it. And use the time to use the time of the weekend. You know, there's plenty of material there for you to catch up on, and we'll rejoin on Sunday.
Okay.
All right. All right. So,
On Sunday, you mean on Monday?
Yeah, rejoin on. We could do a session on Sunday if anyone's keen instead of Saturday. So that is an option, but Mbali's shaking your head. No, doesn't really work. Right? Mbali's like, no, Jono, not happening. Sunday afternoon. No. Hey, that's bright time, man.
Yes, at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Okay. So no, and the morning meditations, I've done a few, and there were a couple, like Marie arrived, I think, on the Monday or the Tuesday. It was quite nice, but no one's really showing up at 9:30 either. Is that something that people want to do, or not really? I'll keep it for next week. I'll just see how it goes. Eh?
Yeah.
It would work because, you know, like I work intermittently, so sometimes I can be there, sometimes I can't because I'm working.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, the idea is it's there if you miss the you know, the morning session and you're not It's not that big a deal because I just log on if no one's there. I carry on working myself. Although sometimes I do have to get up a bit earlier because sometimes I work late at night and I have to get up at like 9:20 and do a meditation, which doesn't happen. But I'll persevere with it next week, and let's see if anyone joins. But we'll can the discussion sessions in the afternoon, the 1:30. The evening meditations are lovely. I really enjoy those. I'm gonna carry on with those. Debbie and Jean show up regularly for those. Anyone else wants to join? 6 o'clock is a great time to do a meditation. 20 minutes to 25 minutes, something like that. Just sets you up nicely for the evening. Okay, so should we close off? Let's just do a minute of breathing. So close your eyes, reconnect with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Just reconnecting with the stillness and this peace that you felt during the meditation. Just want to anchor that state for the rest of the evening. As you inhale, say, I am safe. Exhale. Breathe in again. Hold the breath briefly, say, I'm calm. Exhale, just connect with that sense of peace and calm. Trying to anchor that state for the rest of the evening and the weekend. And I am connected. And just feel that connection with spirit. Give thanks to that part of your mind for leading you here, for bringing us together, for guiding the session, for really being in charge of everything. And in that, giving thanks, you feel this gratitude and you feel this love arising in your heart and your mind. And just stay there, just connect with that and set an intention to carry that love and gratitude for the entire weekend until we reconvene on Monday. So gently open your eyes. Remind yourself that you're never upset for the reason you think. Have a chuckle about that, and go on with your evening. Did you all get my email, by the way? I sent out the email about 8 o'clock with the reading for tonight. So do your reading. I'll be emailing you over the weekend with your reading in the morning, reading in the evening. So keep doing that, and I'll keep sending you the breath breaks. So you can carry
Thank
on.
you, Donna.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Jonna. Have a lovely evening. Bye bye all.
Everybody.
Good weekend, everyone.
Bye all.
Bye bye.
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 Enjoy your weekend.